Hello everyone, it is May. Ready for our April, I guess this would be our May video update because it's May and we're video updating you today. So, just the other day, well actually yesterday, I delivered our Mohonk boats out to the Mohonk Mountain House on a beautiful day, but now the shop is empty. That's what happens this time of year. It disgorges all of the winter projects out into the world, and we get this big, beautiful shop back to fill, and fill it we will. So this week we'll send out this rebuild here that looks like a brand new dory, like Manuel's dory. If you get that reference, then you really know your old movies. So this guy's going to go away this week, and this shop will be pretty empty. What's going to come in is we've got to start building a 16-foot Amesbury skiff for a customer. We'll build that on that back bench, and then the dory that we largely built with a class at Governor's Academy. It's going to come in, we'll set it up here on this bed, and we'll have to finish that this summer too for them. By the fall, they're going to need 3 dories for their programs. So this will be one that we finish, and then we're going to sell them 2 of our dories from the fleet. And then there's a dory downstairs that the apprentices have been building that will also get finished this summer, and that will go into their fleet. So that's really the update, is we don't have any boats to show you anymore. But over here, these guys have plugged up these holes with wood, which is basically, if you distill down what a wooden boat shop does, it fills up big gaping holes with wood. So these garboard bits are new. We had to steam this guy in because it's full length and has a lot of twist up forward. But this, we're trying to get some paint on it this week. This is going to be the last week for our apprentice programs. I'm going away, and we have a couple of other staff who have things to do, and so it's ending a little earlier this year than it might, but that's because I'm headed to the Arctic, and I'll take the hit for that mostly. But it's quite all right. What happens this time of year is some of these kids, or a lot of these kids, get wrapped up with spring sports and all of the end of school year stuff, and so numbers start to dwindle in May and June anyway. But those that want to continue and want to stick around on their own time, we welcome that, and they actually will. They'll come on and probably keep working on this even into the summer. So last time we talked about this piece of deadwood that we were fitting from the what's called bogwood, the wood that came out of the Charlestown Navy Yard there, and you can see it's been fitted, not perfectly yet, but it's at least in place. It needs to get fared in here a bit more. And one of the issues that we found with this boat here is that whoever built it didn't really understand, I don't think, the way the rabbet is supposed to work back aft here. And so the rabbet here was actually quite shallow, and is quite shallow in the stern post. And the caulking actually had gone in and behind the plank, which is not what you want to have happen. You want your seam to kind of be flat here and then roll with the plank into basically a vertical section in the middle. And so as you get back here, it gets a little complicated as your plank starts to go from being flat to vertical. And so you have to sort of, I would call it a gain maybe, that's not me being Canadian, a gain is a planking term. It'd be like a gain back in here as this starts to go into a full depth of the plank. And this is maybe 5/8 deep, and the plank itself is 1 inch, so that left quite a bit of proud planking back here. It never really fit properly. So Jeff has done a bunch of work to get this fitted. And you can see, as you expose more, it kind of dries out a little bit more. But this wood is really super petrified. And the way that you go about shaping something like this, there's still more to do, especially if we're going to have to deepen this rabbet. Some of this material is going to have to go away. And that could possibly explain why they didn't go that deep, is by the time you take the rabbet out of this is maybe 2.5 back here. And if you think about taking an inch out of either side, that doesn't leave you a whole lot left. So obviously this gets a little bit broader as you move forward, but this part of the deadwood is going to get pretty thin, which is another reason we decided to add that extra piece in there. But the shaping of this is basically you start to create some cross sections of where the frames are, where the planks are going to fall, and then you fair them in with a power planer. But this whole thing is probably, I would say this is maybe a 1/2 inch proud still, and it's going to have to come down quite a bit more to get full depth on that rabbet. But beware, don't make your keels and stern posts too skinny.
Yeah.
So Wednesday nights.
Yep, Wednesday
All right.
nights in June.
All right,
Perfect.
very good.
Sounds
Thank you.
good.
Bye.
Good job today. And every race we do.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
Oh, okay. So it being May, now we are out here on the water. So one of the cool things about being here every day, year-round, is you really get to see the river change and how quickly things change. So going from, ice often in March to being here on the dock in May is such a crazy transition and a fast transition. But here we are on a bright, semi-warm day. We've got our 4 dories here in the water and our surf dory. So Monday we will have Math on the River here, which is a math program we do with Amesbury High School. The kids use sextants to basically create their own trig problems. What we do know, for those of you who are math-oriented, we do know the height from the bottom of the red to the flat part at the top. And from that bit of knowledge, with a sextant, we can measure the angle height of that from anywhere here on the river. And so the kids will row across, they'll take an angle height, and they can figure out how far away from the shop they are. They'll do that at several places. The next time they come, they will set a bunch of anchors, and they will take depths at various points. So they'll take a depth and they'll take a height of the building in an angle form, and they can determine how far away they are, so they can actually make a depth map of the river. And then when they come again, we'll usually pick a day when there's a fair amount of current, and they'll row back and forth in the current, get their distance at the first mark and get their distance at the second, so they know how far apart the 2 marks are. And then they'll row back and forth several times and average out their times with that, and thereby determine what the velocity of the current is. And then all that data goes back to school, and they can calculate the volume of water that moves by here in any given minute or hour, at any given flow rate, and all that kind of thing. So that's a program we developed more than 10 years ago with one of the teachers up there, in an answer to the kids always asking her, when are we ever going to use this? And so this is like, here you go, here's trig, here's real life. If you want to know how much sewage is flowing by here on a given minute, we can calculate that with your calculus problem. So that starts Monday. We're going to roll into summer programs here pretty quick. Dorothy will be having these boats full of kids, and they'll go out, explore the river, do some environmental programming, adventure programming all summer. And I really look forward to seeing that when I get back in late July. So I'm going to be gone again. I leave in a couple of days to join the schooner Bowden to sail to the Arctic Circle, and our goal is to reach 70 degrees north. 66 is where the Arctic Circle starts, to reach 70 degrees north by the solstice so that we have 24-hour daylight, which sounds pretty rad, but also pretty weird. I'd be worried about it in normal circumstances. However, when you're working on a ship, you stand watches in a 24-hour cycle. So you're used to being up in the middle of the night, but more so you're used to actually sleeping during the middle of the day. And so when you have 24-hour sunlight, it's not going to be that odd, I don't think, to be sleeping when it's light out, because you're just kind of used to that. But we are doing a fundraising campaign around that. So in the spirit of adventure, this place, Lowell's, also celebrates that spirit of adventure, and we do so by taking kids out in these boats and showing them how to be adventurous. And so we're trying to raise, or we are raising $66,000 for our youth programs, and this campaign is called the Arctic Challenge. We already have a match, so we've got a donor that said if you get to 50, I'll bring you to 66. So if you all want to have your dollars matched, you can go ahead and donate to this campaign. And we're already, I would say, about $20,000 in. So we need another 30. This sounds like an NPR pitch, but we need another 30 to get the other 16. So if you guys are watching this, and follow along, because we're going to be posting a lot of video from this trip. I've got a drone that I managed not to crash into the river today. Hopefully we'll get some nice drone footage of icebergs and the ship, that kind of thing. And we'll send all that back. And you guys can stay updated by liking our YouTube page, following our Instagram account, becoming a member. That's one of the best things you can do, is become a member of Lowell's Boat Shop. That is the most supportive thing you can do. But the easiest supporting thing you can do is go to our YouTube channel, which, if you're watching this, you're already there, and hit like and hit subscribe. And every time we get a video come out, you go ahead and hit like and hit tell your friends. It'll send it around. It'll tell the algorithm to send it to more people, and we'll increase the awareness here for Lowell's Boat Shop. So that's it for now. That's it for May. You guys aren't going to see me maybe until late July. I'll come back and tell you about all the things that are going on here in my absence. But that's it. Thanks for subscribing. I should paint those today. I should paint these today.